Hello, this is Jade the Stone, and welcome to speedARTicles, where I talk about a piece of media that I like and draw some fan art for it. I have this theory that every family or otherwise close-knit group of people that spends a lot of time together have at least one piece of highly niche media that only really they know about and reference constantly. Like a meme circled around a group, but it's so specific to that group that it becomes sort of an in-joke shared amongst its members. Something that holds meaning to only them that other members can immediately recognize. Like my family understanding what a specific whistled tune is, or what snapping my fingers in a particular way insinuates. Like how when I say, get it, I know that my parents will say got it, and I'll say good in a fast-paced, matter-of-fact manner. Or like how I know that as soon as I start quoting the tongue-twister-like phrase, the pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle, the chalice from the palace has the brew that is true, that my mom is most certainly attempting to quote it along with this video that I'm sure she is watching. And I know these references will likely make my immediate family laugh, and that no one else will understand what the heck I'm getting at. Because for today's speed article, I'd like to introduce you to my family's highly niche film, called The Court Jester. The Court Jester is a 1955 musical comedy starring Danny Kaye. The story seems like your classic medieval drama, involving a group of rebels trying to reclaim a stolen throne and return it to its rightful heir. The plot involves a simple carnival man named Hubert Hawkins, who pretends to be a famous court jester in order to take back the throne from the inside. It has music and sword fights and kitschy romance. From the description, it seems like your average medieval drama, but it is in fact a humorous, almost meta twist on the formula, a la films like The Princess Bride or Robin Hood Men in Tights. And if you want my opinion, this film fits nicely amongst those two if you are ever wanting to do a double or triple feature. But this film was made in 1955. This was back before the movie trailers had the sense to not give away the entire plot of the film. This was back when it was advertised as being in Technicolor. This was before Mel Brooks and before parody or spoof films were commonplace, and before meta-commentary on genres was really much of a thing. And yet, in the opening sequence, we are regaled with the lead actor singing a song calling out tropes most commonly seen in the genre of film that we will be watching. Quote, "On a medieval spree, knights full of chivalry, villains full of villainy. You'll see, as you suspect, maidens fair in silks bedecked. Each tried and true effect for the umpteenth time will resurrect." The film is well aware of what it's doing. But despite this, and certainly adding to the comedy, everything in the film is played almost completely straight. With the exception of the opening credits scene, it doesn't so much as break the fourth wall as peek at it through the corner of its eye. Even the musical aspect doesn't quite bend the suspension of disbelief. I'm fairly neutral when it comes to my interest in musicals, but I do enjoy the fact that the songs in this movie occur during times when it makes sense for the plot. For example, when singing a lullaby to a baby, or while the main character is doing his court jester act to the king. In fact, our hero, Hawkins, often uses music in his subterfuge while trying to allay suspicions of his plans to overthrow the king. He sings a song while whistling a secret call to signal an ally, or he'll add some coded lyrics to a song that his friend will understand, but the king will simply think he's entertaining him as his role as the court jester. The lead actor, Danny Kaye, was your classic triple threat. He could sing, act, and dance, and he does all three of these things throughout the film. Many of his films usually involved him being a bumbling main character thrown into a situation where he is well in over his head, but gets through due to a perfectly balanced combination of quick wit and incredibly dumb luck. And his role in The Court Jester is no exception. Basil Rathbone, who plays one of the main villains in the film, was known for playing Sherlock Holmes in several older Hollywood films, and adds an air of importance to the plot, acting as a cunning and much more competent antagonist to Danny Kaye's antics. Another cool thing about this actor is that he was a highly skilled fencer, and so when you're watching any of the swordplay in the film, you can bet all of it is completely authentic on his part. An additional thing that I want to point out that I enjoy about this film is the costumes. I don't normally pay attention to the costume design of a piece of media, but they put a lot of effort in that department into this film. The actors are wearing different outfits in nearly every scene. They're colorful and vibrant and enjoyable to look at. The brightly colored clothing of the leads often contrasts with the darker and sharper tones of the villains, making the movie both visually pleasing and easy to identify who you're supposed to be rooting for. Overall, this film is colorful, fun, and well acted, with perfectly timed comedy and action that I think still holds up really well despite its age. What I think is great about these kind of family group niche films is that it's not always the film itself that makes it so meaningful. It's the people you watched it with, the jokes you share, the knowing smiles. Not just the familiarity or the nostalgia of a film that you might have grown up with, but of a film that you grew up with other people. I would highly recommend The Court Jester because it is indeed a hilarious and enjoyable film. But it is all the more special of a film to me because it reminds me of my family. This movie means a lot to me for reasons very specific to me and my family. And I'm willing to bet that you've got a film or piece of media like that too. I realize that I don't have an end card where I talk about asking you to like, comment, subscribe, whatever. But to be honest, I'm doing this a little bit last minute. I actually started writing this script months ago. I had been thinking of this film a lot because it's a comfort film to me. But I had trouble finishing it and putting it out there because it reminded me that for once I could not enjoy it with my family. For the past 6+ years, I've been living in and working in other countries, and because of the things happening in the world, I was stuck in another country away from my family. And because of the travel restrictions and my job, this is the longest time I've been away from home at all. But I'm happy to say that as of writing this, I'm going home. The reason why this last part is not very scripted well or anything is because I am doing it a couple hours before I have to leave for the airport for my flight back home. And so I wanted to get this done in time before that happened. I'm really excited to be going back home, and when I do, you can bet that one of the things I'll probably be doing is watching The Court Jester with my family.